Hey, YouTube, it's Ashley, Keller Williams Real Estate. I'm super excited. We're just going to move right into the next video. Okay, so we're going to talk about presentation. I think that on presentation, we're going to do a three-part video. This is going to be 3 parts, okay? 3 parts. The first part of presentation is going to be about decluttering and doing your fixes, right? Like your inspection piece. The next part of presentation is going to be getting it staged and getting beautiful photographs, okay? Pardon. And then the next piece of presentation is going to be about exposure, okay? Exposure to the market, all right? Those are the 3 parts, okay? So this is part 1. Let's talk about decluttering, okay? Now, I think there's a lot of different approaches. I mean, I think it's, it's very easy to say declutter, okay? But I mean, you really need to like go through your house like you're moving, okay? Like take everything that's yours. I would recommend probably like getting like a truck. Like this would be something that you'd have to do with or without an agent, okay? Get somebody to help you throw a bunch of stuff away and pack all your items, okay? So pack like you're moving, get everything boxed up, and yeah, I mean, you really want to have like a pretty empty house, like, as if you don't live there, all right? So you're going to box everything up. You're going to fully declutter. I mean, for those of you who really love organization, it would be super helpful if you read Marie Kondo's book. I will leave a link in this description below. Like, I think that approach is a nice way to not only declutter, but reorganize all of your possessions so that when you move into your next house, it's pretty easy to like unpack and put things in the right places, and you're not kind of like sometimes you've probably done this before when you move, but you get down to the dregs, the end, and you just start like putting random stuff like the random remainers, okay, into a box, and then they're just like a remains box, okay? And the remains box is a hard box because like which room do you put that in when you move? Like who knows where that remains box goes? So you want to do that. The other thing that I would recommend doing, and I think that this is just, I mean, unless you're already kind of like a do-it-yourselfer person, I mean, even for that do-it-yourself handy person, I would still highly, highly recommend having an inspector come out and do an inspection on your home. All right. And, the home inspection is not that expensive, but it's good to know this. One, it helps what things buyers might find when they do an inspection, right? Because that's going to happen. And it also allows you can use it as a piece of marketing leverage, obviously, because you can say, hey, I've already done an inspection. It came back really clean. Or, hey, I did an inspection. They said I need to replace the roof. You replace the roof. And it's super, right? Awesome. Super duper awesome. Okay. So it's super awesome, right? So you use it as a piece of marketing leverage. The other thing that you can do is you can also include it's called a seller procured inspection report. You can include that with your, with the materials about your home when you're marketing it, right? So when you go ahead and you write your marketing description, you could say, hey, this home has been pre-inspected, that inspection is available and all that stuff. So boom, I think it's a great investment. I recommend my sellers do it all the time. And yeah, I think it always works well, right? Because I think, what it does is it takes away the mystery for the buyer. Like a lot of times buyers are like, well, I don't know what I'm buying. Like, I don't know if I can do the contract. I don't know if I can stay in here. If I find something in the inspection, I don't know, right? But you want to basically say, hey, look, there's nothing to find because we found it all. And we addressed it. Or, hey, we found it all. We're not addressing any of it. And you can be just straight up, right? Like, I think people really appreciate that, right? They really appreciate that. So you want to do those things. You want to get those fixes done. All right. So now that you've decluttered, you've done your inspection, you've made whatever fixtures you're going to make. The other thing that I would really, really recommend is maybe doing some painting. It just, it's going to kind of like require your eye. And, maybe you could have a friend come over, like someone that you really trust, come over and look at your space for you and just sort of like think like, if I did some painting in here, would it, elevate the presentation of the house? Would it make it look cleaner? Would it make it look better? I mean, paint is not super expensive. It doesn't usually take a lot of time. but I would recommend that. Like here's the deal. If you're going to market your house as a fixer and it just needs everything, then maybe don't worry about paint. Like that is a feature now, right? Like if you're marketing as a feature, as a fixer, then it is a feature that it looks bad. All right. But you got to remember, you got to keep that in mind when you price. Okay. So you want to market it as a fixer, then leave it as a fixer. But if you're going to try to market it as like move-in ready, like kind of like ready to go, then I would highly recommend doing some painting, doing some touch up, touching up the trim, touching up the walls, maybe getting like a professional cleaner to come out. I mean, so you could either spend your time on this. It just depends on what level of do-it-yourself you want. So get the paint done, do your touch up around the house, make it look presentable, and then hire a cleaner. I think it will be the best $500 you ever spent. Have them, clean the top of the refrigerator, clean out the oven. Because there's nothing worse, okay, than having an open house and having a potential buyer, come in and open your microwave and be like, oh. Or open your oven and be like, oh. So, you just have to hit those things, okay? You got to clean out that fridge, clean out that oven, clean out that microwave, and do those things. So basically, that is it. That is step 1 of presentation. It's like declutter your house, get an inspection, figure out if there are fixes that need to be done, get those fixes done or don't do them. It's kind of up to you. Maybe paint, unless you're marketing it as a fixer. Paint, do your touch up, hire a cleaner, get it nice and clean. All right. That is part 1 of presentation done. Like the video, subscribe to my channel. See you again soon.